Hello everyone, welcome back to 10-minute recaps. Today we'll be watching episodes 5, 6 and 7 of our beloved summer. Last episode, we saw Yeonsu set up Choi-young so her job can go viral, and we see how they started dating back in high school. At the start of this episode, we have a flashback to Sung-Cheol's memories. Ever since they were children, Sung-Cheol has been in the shadows while Choi-young takes up the spotlight and is popular. When they got to high school, he got a crush on Yeonsu at first sight, but after all, bros come before hoes, and he decided to not get involved with Yeonsu when he saw that Choi-young likes her too. Of course he's jealous of how Choi-young always seems to be the main character, but their closeness and how well Choi-young treats everyone makes it difficult for Sung-Cheol to hold a grudge. It also turns out that Choi-young had misunderstood Yeonsu. She had no part in trying to create drama by inviting Noah as well. That had all been orchestrated by Mr. Jang, and she was just as angry as Choi-young about it. The next day, she tries to apologise to Choi-young even though she didn't do anything. But the emotionally immature Choi-young doesn't pick up. At home, Dong-gu hears about what happened, and as a professional PR manager, he worries Choi-young will look bad compared to Noah if he just sits at home all day in the documentary. So, he forces Choi-young to go to a gallery and make grand speeches about the art, but unluckily, Sung-Cheol's camera runs out of battery halfway through. Sung-Cheol takes this chance to talk to Choi-young about what happened. They both know Yeonsu so well that they know she wouldn't have set Choi-young up. But ever since meeting her again, Choi-young's been feeling so conflicted and he wanted any excuse to be able to yell at her and leave. Sung-Cheol tells him that Yeonsu still likes him and tries to get them back together. Sung-Cheol really is a good friend, willing to sacrifice his own crush to make his friend happy. Over with Yeonsu, she's spending time with Jinju. Jinju's bar is doing terribly as usual, and when a big group booking cancels at the last minute, Jinju gets drunk and starts calling out everyone from Yeonsu to her crazy ex-boyfriend. The film crew comes up with a brilliant idea to help Jinju's bar. Sung-Cheol drags Choi-young to the bar, where Choi-young and Yeonsu get forced to sit down and talk openly. After a day of thinking, Choi-young acts like an adult and apologises to Yeonsu, saying that he'll work with Noah at the marketing event. Yeonsu apologises as well, and for the first time since they broke up, they sit down and talk like normal people. Dinner ends early because Choi-young now has to work non-stop for 5 days to prepare for the marketing event. He needs to draw for 100 hours, including 5 hours straight at a live event. Yeonsu can't help but worry about Choi-young's health as he works 19 hours a day every day and is so tired he's nearly passing out from exhaustion. She visits him with a flask of warm tea to cheer him up, but as she's about to leave, Choi-young grabs her arm and asks if she wants to stay over. That night, Yeonsu has a dream about her childhood. Her childhood was difficult, living in poverty. She got bullied, and as a self-defense mechanism, she became cold and self-centered. In her whole life, the only person that's broken this shell is Choi-young. But even though she's happy in their relationship, it's not without problems. She needs to work so hard to pay off her family's debt and pay for her grandmother's medical appointments, and in comparison, Choi seems so carefree with a loving, complete family. In the end, she broke up with Choi because their worlds are so different, and she worried that dating him would stop her from achieving her potential and helping her grandmother. When Yeonsu wakes up, she's at home. Last night, she didn't stay with Choi after all, and instead just put him to sleep on the sofa. The delirious Choi had admitted to her that he lives in pain every day since she dumped him. When he wakes up, he's completely forgotten about everything from last night. Overworking the last few days caused his brain to not work properly. When they get to the marketing event, Yeonsu is asleep in a dressing room, and the peacefulness reminds Choi of the time that they were dating. He watches her sleep quietly, but when she wakes, he pretends that he just got there and asks her what happened last night. This catches Yeonsu off guard. She doesn't really know how to respond and she rushes to the event instead. At the event, Choi and Noah sit next to each other drawing. The look of focus, commitment, and sheer will on Choi-young's face is something that Yeon-soo's never seen before, and she's super impressed at how he's matured. Choi-young's parents are there as well, and they're happy to run into Yeon-soo, even though she dumped their son. When Yeon-soo hears what happened to Choi-young after she dumped him, she feels awful. Choi-young sees that she's not well and goes to run after her, but NJ shows up to give him support, calling him her friend. Choi-young is happy to be friend-zoned, much to the annoyance of NJ. Choi-young and Yeon-soo are so close, but yet so far away from each other. That night, Choi-young confronts Yeon-soo. He can't stand them acting so cold to each other, as if they're not even friends. They look at each other with tears brimming out of their eyes, and the voice in Yeon-soo's heart says, "I broke up with you because I thought I could live alone, but I was wrong." Confronting Yeon-soo was a huge leap for Choi-young. Ever since he was a child, running away has been his strategy whenever he meets a problem, and Yeon-soo is the only place where he doesn't run away. But his bravery doesn't last long. The next day, Donggu sets up a party to celebrate the marketing event going well. And when they realise they will have to see each other after that awkward conversation they had last night, both Choi-young and Yeon-soo unanimously disappear. Even the normally brave Yeon-soo doesn't want to see Choi-young after he implied that he wanted to get back together. But you can't avoid fate. They end up running into each other at the same bookstore, and Choi-young summons every last ounce of courage and invites Yeon-soo to lunch. Of all the places to eat, Choi-young takes Yeon-soo to the restaurant his parents run, and they're delighted to see them eat together. It seems just like they're going on a date, and the past 5 years are all a bad dream. But they're quickly brought back to reality when they realise that they barely know anything about each other anymore. The health of their families, how their jobs are going, how their lives have been are all questions that they don't know the answers to. When Choi-young asks Yeon-soo these questions, she automatically replies, "I'm fine." The cold, robotic response turns the romantic meal awkward in a second, and Yeon-soo tries to make her escape. Choi-young has 2 wingmen, his mum and his dad, who give Yeon-soo a meal to take away just like old times. As Choi-young is taking Yeon-soo home, he criticises Yeon-soo for always deciding everything on her own, without giving him any say, even in things as important as their relationship. He's tired of always being the passive one. Yeon-soo has never seen him like this, and he's completely right. So she can only stand there and silently accept his anger. In Korea, there's a law where celebrities can choose to punish online trolls either by community service or suing them in court. NJ is at community service with some of her haters, trying to change their minds about her. But even though in front of NJ, all of these trolls are apologetic, she hears them continue to spread awful rumours about her behind her back. From rumours that she's sleeping with people to get famous, to shaming her looks, personality and singing ability. NJ can't stand it anymore and announces that she will be suing all of them in court. Being in the spotlight as a celebrity is so draining, and the only place NJ can find relief from this is in Choi-young. The clumsy, oblivious guy just makes her happy whenever she sees him, and she can always talk with him about anything at all. She tries to invite him to lunch, but the blind Choi-young just says that he's already had lunch. NJ is amazed by how silly he is and decides to say it directly. "I like you." This shocks Choi-young so much that he drops his ice cream, making NJ laugh again. She tells him that she's not going to force him to date her. She just wants him to know her feelings. Meanwhile, behind them, Yeon-soo is watching them laugh together just like lovers. She had decided to turn around and come back to Choi-young when she ran into the 2 of them. Sung-Cheol sees her, but doesn't expose her stalking. Instead, As they wander along, they start chatting about Sung-Cheol's love life. Yeon-soo is curious why Sung-Cheol never had a girlfriend, but of course, he can't say it's because he's had a crush on her for a decade. That night, a film editor at Sung-Cheol's work looks at a childhood documentary and figures out that Choi-young and Yeon-soo have something going on between them. But this is completely missing from the new one because of their requests. She tells Sung-Cheol that a good documentary will always reflect the truth, not what the characters want to be the truth, and arranges a surprise for the main characters. When they wake up, they are unceremoniously kidnapped and taken away to a faraway villa where they're going to spend the next 3 days together. So, we finally know why Yeon-soo broke up with Choi-young. What do you think about her reason? Do you think they'll get back together in the villa? Let me know in the comments, and if you want more recaps, don't forget to like and subscribe.